On a different matter, this week the Biden administration's radical EPA is finalizing yet another regulation that will force ordinary Americans to conform their lifestyles to coastal elite sensibilities. This latest rule would use strict emission requirements on auto manufacturers to effectively ban gas-powered vehicles. The president's energy agenda that keeps on putting climate askers in the driver's seat and leaves American workers in the dust. From canceling new oil leases and clean energy projects like LNG to threatening to ban gas stoves, the Biden administration has made it abundantly clear that they're willing to trade working families' livelihoods for kudos from their radical base. But this week, the House Republican majority is actually fighting back. Our colleagues have dedicated this week to considering common sense legislation to undo some of the worst offenses of the Biden administration's regulatory state. They'll take up bills to clear radical roadblocks that are preventing the completion of so many urgent energy infrastructure projects, to protect energy sector jobs against freezes on fracking and other energy development, to repeal a multi-million-dollar taxpayer slush fund for green energy projects, and to warn about the disastrous effects of a carbon tax on the U.S. economy. The Biden administration keeps trying to sell working families on electric vehicles, but the American people aren't buying the hype. The average EV costs over $14,000 more than the average gas-powered vehicle. Auto dealers around the country have noticed that demand for electric vehicles is stagnant, and at least one rental company is selling off its stocks due to a lack of interest. Meanwhile, state utilities are growing concerned that their power grids are already straining under soaring demand for electricity. Just imagine what would happen to our fragile electrical grid if it were forced people to drive electric cars. Now, that doesn't seem to concern the Biden administration, neither does the fact that the supply chains for the critical minerals in EV batteries run straight through the People's Republic of China. The EPA's new emission standards are so stringent that they would require that electric vehicles make up 2 of every 3 vehicles on the consumer market within 8 years, regardless of whether charging infrastructure is ever available. Apparently, rolling blackouts are just one of the many costs of admission to the Biden administration's green future. So I'd like to commend our House Republican colleagues for putting serious solutions on the table, and I hope Washington Democrats will snap out of their climate daydream before it becomes a nightmare for working families.